You gotta go like 1, 2, 3, 4.
What is the difference between being punk and being a punk?
We are here to talk some punk rock, some music, comics,
Punk culture, DIY shit, anything we want to talk about.
That's what fascinates me. Give me everything. Absolutely everything.
I find that music and comics have always been intertwined.
Muckspout.
Chicks dig it. Don't worry.
Welcome everybody to Muckspout. I got John and Jay with me today, and we have our guest Billy Mays the Third, also known as Infinite Third, and he's got some new music coming up, so he's here to chat with us. How you doing, Billy?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the elephant in the room. I don't know if it's an elephant in the room. That phrase is weird. It makes everybody uncomfortable.
You just made it weird. I was like, uh-oh, what are we about to talk about?
9 fucking hour album though. Like,
yeah,
we're like punk rock guys, so like an album of like 20 songs can be like 7 minutes.
You know, before we actually started here, we pretty much touched on like the reason I did this, and it was basically because anytime I would read something like, you know, as a musician, you should make 20-second clips and, you know, all the stuff I would read about that kind of thing, I would just always be like, ugh, I hate that. And basically, I know you guys know that I've streamed between 2021 and 2023. I had like my streaming era on Twitch. Yep. And at the end of every music stream, I would do about 20 to 30 minutes of just like meditative ambient music. And I repurposed some of those recordings for my Patreon as like exclusive ambient songs. And then after I think I made like 63 of them, I was like, man, I would like to put those out somehow. And then recently I was like, you know what? I did a lot of the work already. Let me curate the best of those and see where it lands. And I ended up with 36 songs, and they totaled 9 hours and 3 minutes. And I just like settled on that once I rearranged everything. And I sort of like cleaned up some of the recordings and made them listenable, but they're live songs. And once I decided, I was like, this is awesome. Like it's so absurd that I'm going to put out a 9-hour album in 2024 when no one has an attention span. And so it's just like, I've been like doubling down on it this whole time.
Amazing.
So now, for those of us that don't know, what form will this come out on? Digitally, vinyl?
It's going to be all digital. Yeah, there's no way. I think I'm going to put out like 25 records or something.
Exactly. But the entire vinyl industry out of business. Yeah. I used it all. Sorry.
Yeah.
You thought Adele was bad.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be all digital. It's been on Bandcamp as a pre-order for a couple weeks now, and it's the most pre-orders I've ever gotten on Bandcamp, so something about it resonated, I guess, because it's $5 for 9 hours of music. Maybe that feels like a good deal. But 3 of the songs have been available for a couple weeks now on Bandcamp, and the official release date is February 23rd, and it's called Holy Noise. I didn't mention that. And funny enough, as we speak, I'm sort of trying to piece together some short form visual content to put on Instagram and stuff like that, because I don't know, I need to do that.
What's the average song length?
Well, the first couple songs are like under 10 minutes, and then it kind of goes in a bunch of directions, but a good amount of them are 20 plus minutes. Like there's probably like 9 or 10 songs that are over 20 minutes. One of them's like 40 minutes, the last song. And the fun part was sequencing it, because I love sequencing albums, but this one made absolutely no sense, and it was impossible to wrap your head around it. So I have these little like intuitive ways that I try to sequence, especially this one, where I was just kind of going by vibes, and to the point where all the titles are kind of pulled from the chat that was going on.
Oh, okay, cool.
During most of them are, or something was said, like reminded me of something, and I titled it later that. But there ended up being, in the middle of the album, you'll see there's like 6 6 or 7 songs that all have animals in them, and I call it the animal suite. It's like this little section, and
I think that's when I tuned in when you did your
oh, okay, yeah,
the record party,
the Bandcamp
the
listening
Bandcamp
party, yeah,
party.
that was like that really like helped me get through the impossible sequence stuff like that. Being like, all right, well, this song can't be next to this song. But then once I put the animal songs together, I was like, all right, that seals the middle of it. Like, I'm just going to get those in the best order of 7.
Yep.
And now I know those are in the middle. And, you know, like the intro, like I always look at things like the first 3 songs are really important on anything. So I really wanted those to be 3 different sounding songs, like not the same kind of droniness. Like they all have different sounds going on in them. But as you can imagine, to the untrained ear, a lot of them probably sound the same because it's just ambient drone music. But I think some interesting things happen here and there.
Yeah, one of the things that cracked me up was somebody referenced it as music to sleep to, which would be super insulting probably to most artists. But
yeah, I take no offense. In fact, I hope people will just turn it on and fall asleep and give me the stream.
Yeah, that's almost something ingenious about that. If you put that on and just crash out, you're just getting you those pennies, just racking up.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with like Spotify and, you know, if people actually listen to the whole thing or not. And I don't know. Yeah, I've gotten good feedback so far, and I've sent a couple download codes to some friends, so they've listened to the whole thing. And I think the whole point is that you can kind of just put it on, almost like it's a playlist, and shuffle it or whatever, and you have 9 hours filled of background music. So I think that's kind of like the selling point of it.
And for me, like that's the only thing I can listen to is instrumental music if I'm doing any kind of like computer work. So it's perfect for that kind of scenario too, because I like anything with lyrics. I'm just like, you know, my attention span is gone. So
I get that. I'm the same way.
Yeah. So I appreciate.
Yeah. The day that he was doing the listening party, I was editing some video of people talking. And I was actually able to like play his music while I was doing that because it wasn't disrupting like what I was doing.
Exactly. Yep.
It's kind of like another step deeper from just straight up instrumental music because there's not even any rhythmic elements really. It's just textures. And I don't know. I think that's cool. I have my times where I listen to actual ambient music. Mostly I listen to like black metal and stuff.
Right.
So,
I was going to mention that. It's kind of funny coming from you, like being like the metal guy. Like, to have like this super chill drone album that's 9 hours long.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, this is actually sort of a precursor, this album, because as you know, this is only 10% of my live streams in that time period that I mentioned, and the other 90% was actual instrumental looping and songs, and you've heard a lot of them, Eric, and I kind of did the same thing with those where I've started to collect the best clips, which I'm pulling from so many more, and it's much harder to wrap your head around this, but I think I'm going to end up with another 9-hour live album, but with instrumental music. And I have it all mapped out. Like it's going to be called Continuous Demonstrations, and I have the album art done, but it's going to take months to figure out how to sequence it and, you know, get it listenable because it's all just live recordings. I'm literally taking the audio from the Twitch broadcast and trying to make it EQ'd right and, you know, worthy of being put out there.
So wow, you can do a Cliff Notes version to put on like on an LP.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Vinyl,
you know, that's probably not a bad idea, and I could probably take like, let's say, the first 40 minutes of this ambient album and do a record if I wanted to. You know, that's a good point. I should consider something like that. Or I would love to do a tape. Honestly, I haven't done a tape since like 2011 or something like that.
Yeah, that seems to be
too. So you
they're coming back.
You could do volumes. You know, do. Pretty cheap. CDs too, if you're doing, you know, like a duplicated CD.
True,
you do little volumes of CDs too.
I could do a little like CD booklet that you get with 10 CDs in it.
You can make like a zine. You could do it in like a zine format.
That's a good idea. Wow. Yeah. All right. We're brainstorming here. I like this.
I like that.
I was considering doing a USB drive.
Yep.
But they're still kind of expensive to. I mean, if I just want to do the 9 hours, like the storage isn't. I don't have to get that much storage, but I would love to do like I did many years ago. I had my whole discography on a USB drive, and that was probably my favorite merch that I ever had. It was just a big investment. That's the problem.
Yep.
Yeah, but no, these are good points. And what I would like to do, I don't know if you've seen the cover. You've seen it, Eric. The album cover is like this weird druid, like dressed in all black, sitting cross-legged in front of a static TV, like a tube TV playing static, and it's all in like pixel art style.
Oh, cool.
And I talked to my friend about it, and we're gonna see if there can be a 3D model made, so you can get like a 3D printed figure of it.
Oh, awesome!
Oh, wow!
So that would be something cool, and I would love for that to somehow, I don't know, I could put a little USB in there or something that it becomes the physical media. I could put a QR code on it and it takes you to Spotify, something like that.
Lots of possibilities.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
There it is.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I could see that in either resin or vinyl figure too would be. Yeah.
True. Yeah. I just got some stickers printed, some die cut stickers printed off that.
That is definitely a t-shirt though.
Yeah. I'm doing a t-shirt. I do my own like graphic design a lot, so it's hard to I have to turn it into an image that prints right, like with the blacks and the whites, like so it's screen printable. It looks good. So I'm figuring that out. But yeah, it's a definite shirt. I'm gonna have it for sure.
So when you do an album like this, then you go out and promote in some way. Like I know you're trying to do more live stuff again. Like, is it possible to take a track that you've done and do it live the way you do it, or is it
no way? My music is completely improvised anyway, so essentially, like when I do an ambient song, it's a new version of one of these songs. Like I don't ever remember what I play, or I'm almost constantly trying not to play something I've played before. Yeah. So I miss there's only been one time in my career where I've played parts of my album live with like backing tracks, and I missed that time. It was when my Channels album came out in 2017, and I missed the idea that I could play something. I know what I was going to play for the set, and at the end of it, I could say I have that record right here on vinyl, and if you want to buy it. And it was just like a great feeling. But after about a year and a half or 2 years of that, I felt so stuck in resorting to that set that the only way I felt like I could get out of it was I started tuning my guitar differently. So I physically couldn't play along to those songs. So now I play in drop C and I don't have any backing tracks. So I'm forced to do it. But I do still, the way it works is I play my music. I go play a 2-hour set, 3-hour set at some brewery or something. And then I just talk about the album. And a couple people might be interested. But yeah, people will ask me stuff like that. Like, oh, what was that song you played? Like, when I walked in, and I'm just like, I don't know. It'll never exist again. So, and that's what these songs are. I actually have them tagged as live on the metadata. Like they're live songs. So on Spotify, it's going to say Holy Noise live when it's out. So, and I think that kind of gives context to any imperfections that are in it. Because there's a couple times, even in these, where you can hear my pedals. Like me hitting a pedal or something, and it was just because I forgot to turn off the streaming mic while I was doing that part, and I just realized like if those sounds weren't there, I might not have made it a live album. I might have just said these are songs, but I just didn't want someone to hear that and be like, "Wow, he left these like clicky things in there."
Shoddy engineer did he work with?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. It's just kind of funny to me when I think about like our usual thing is like punk rock and 3-minute songs and
Well, another thing that I hope will come from this is that I hope some people will like sample it, because that's happened before where people will make beats and just other songs out of this.
Yep.
Maybe I'll sample some of it too. It's just you take a little bit of texture and turn it into a hip hop beat or something like that. It's always fun. I love that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's good to have something new out, and then to have it be something so absurdly long feels good too, because
it makes it something interesting to talk about.
Maybe it's a little punk rock to just be like, fuck the algorithm.
100%. Oh, that's great.
And try to get it into some like a movie database where they're pulling music for movies and TV.
True. Yeah.
Definitely
I actually considered that for some of my visuals. I considered just taking like really recognizable, famous, like dramatic scenes from movies and just putting parts of some of the songs over them, and that could be the content.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. Like a lot of my friends are like filmmakers and stuff, and I usually send them just my albums, but this would be a good one to just be like, hey, there's tons of texture here that's like a lot of it's cinematic in nature. You just pull from.
Yeah, I remember when I was listening to the listening party, I said something like that on there, like you need to be backing a movie, like totally orchestrate a movie.
I would love that. That'd be so fun. I've done some. There's been some stuff used in like short films and stuff like that, but I've never actually scored something for a movie or a show or something like that. And I don't know if I could. I feel like, oddly enough, even though I improvise, I feel like a lot of people who score things are very meticulous with what's going where.
Yeah, it's got to match what's going on screen.
And these filmmakers are asking for a style or something to happen, and like sometimes someone might say, "Oh, can you do something like this?" And I'm just like, well, "I don't know. We'll see." Like that would be my answer. So I've always been reluctant to just be like, "Yeah, I'll score your film," just for that reason, because like you're gonna get what you get.
It would almost be cool to do something like I see. Remember that old film Metropolis?
Yeah,
where it was like black and white and sci-fi, and it was just I can't remember what band it was. I saw them just kind of riffing along with the movie and playing live with it, and I'd like it'd be cool to like take something that very well and be able to like just riff along while it's on.
I would love that. That's a good idea. I twice played in Richmond, Virginia. I played my friend's event called Silent Film Revival, and it's the James River Film Association or something like that, and they would host these events where they'd get like 2 musicians and 2 silent films, and they'd feature those films, and then one musician would live score the one, and then one musician live score the other one, and I enjoyed it. It was super fun. I even did one during the pandemic. They sent me 2 films, short films, silent ones, and I did it like with my Twitch thing where you can see the whole video around me. And I basically just improvised to the films, and I guess I could do it. It's like, I guess maybe the point is like I can definitely improvise to a film that's like just like nonstop visuals. But when they start telling me to like, do something really specific at this point, I'd be like, I don't know that. Like, how about you? Like you take my music and do it.
It would almost have to be like, okay, you get complete visual and or auditory control over this whole project.
Totally.
So.
Hey, while you're already here, why don't you go ahead and like and subscribe? And if there's a bell on your screen, click that bitch so we can keep doing this shit.
I think I also saw that you were looking to do some more mouth console stuff. Did I see that?
Yeah.
So I know we talked about it last time you were here, but I think it's an interesting project. So
it's if you don't know, it's kind of like the way I describe it is that I have 2 music projects. One is me looping completely improvised, and it's just me, and it's like me and my feelings and doing it. And then mouth console is I take that same loop machine and I basically just invite volunteers from the crowd or from anywhere, and we sit in a circle, and I pass a microphone around, and we only use mouth sounds to make music, and I kind of mix it on the spot. And I've been doing it for almost as long as I've been doing Infinite Third, and it became like a much more communal thing where I have regular people that have done it for many years with me, and it's just something that fits in almost any circumstance. Like, it came back officially after the pandemic, or after, I know the pandemic's not over, but when the pandemic started, I was like, okay, I think I'm done with mouth counts. Like, nobody's going to want to share spit on the same microphone with me, and I don't want to do it either. Sure. And, nothing's changed. I still don't think people are like totally comfortable with it, but I think it's more like the same risk we're taking by going out in the world again. Like, we're going to take that risk with the microphone. So it came back because my distribution company, Symphonic Distribution, who's hired me a bunch of times to do it with them, hired me for their Christmas party, their corporate Christmas party in Florida. And they brought me down, they paid me, and I was like, damn, I think it's back. And it felt really good. And once it was officially back, like I was like, all right, I'm gonna take it to an open mic, and it's always nice in an open mic, but it works as like an actual set at a show, at any show, at a punk show, at a hip hop show, like metal show. It just works. It's just like a fun thing to do, and it kind of like warms the crowd up. But it also works in like a corporate environment or a team building kind of thing.
It sounds therapeutic.
Yeah. It's sort of a workshop in a way when it needs to be. Like, it's a creativity exercise, and I've done it with improv, like live during an improv show of like comedy. I was like the guest at one. So yeah, it's back, and I'm doing it, and I don't know what's gonna happen because I've been doing it for a long time, but I just felt like it just I go where it takes me kind of thing. And so there's a lot of possibilities for it. The funny thing is, like, I much prefer to do Infinite Third just because it's just me, and it's just like, I feel like more people resonate with Mouth Council though, because it's just so universal and fun. And whereas Infinite Third can be kind of gloomy and
it's like a community experience. Like, it's almost tribal.
The interaction. You remember, it's memorable when you're a part of something.
Yeah.
Yep. But it kind of like hurts my feelings because I'm like, well, Infinite Third's like my true expression. And people would be like, oh, I love Mouth Council. I'm like, yeah, I bet you do. Like, everyone does. And like, cavemen would have loved Mouth Council. It's like literally that's part of the art that we use is like these cavemen. My friend drew up cavemen doing it with the loop station and the microphone. And, I don't know. And now that it's back, it's like, it's good to have it back, and it's like both of my my two sides are back in the world and playing shows. And unfortunately, though, my streaming era seems to be over for now.
Yeah.
Because I can't really do both. It's such an installation to do both.
Oh yeah.
So like right now, my gear's like ready to go because I have a show next week, and I don't really want to like reinstall it behind me with the green screen there. But I would like to stream. I'm going to start streaming games and like just hangouts more and like listening to stuff. But, that's why I'm trying to commemorate with Holy Noise and with the other album, like commemorate that time, because it was a really specific pandemic time where I was stuck inside and I played music.
Yeah.
Hey, while you're already here, why don't you go ahead and like and subscribe? And if there's a bell on your screen, click that bitch, so we can keep doing this shit.
The new album, Holy Noise.
February 23rd.
23rd. Thanks for joining us, Billy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it's great.
Wonderful having you on again.
Yeah, this was super cool. Nice to meet you. And
yeah, you too, brother.
It's such creative stuff.
Let's chat again soon.
Hey, you made it through an entire episode. Good for you. If you're looking for more, give the rest of the channel a look. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. We'll catch you fuckers next time. Later.
Muckspout.